Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you are keeping well. My name is Dr. Mercy. Today I want to give you a story of my life. The reason I'm giving this story is because it's going to journal. It's going to write down some of these things that happen to us so that later on when you're reading or you are reflecting, you are grateful to God. So back in 2013, I was going through my normal issues of life. So somebody had sent me a letter that really disturbed me. Not a letter of dismissal from work. No, that time I was a great teacher at Njabari Christian Schools. I was at the peak of it and enjoying it. So it's not about work, but I had received a letter that was not very nice. And at the same time, I was on crutches, and I also had some machumas in my body, so I needed to remove them at some point of my life. So when I received that letter, let me tell you, Maina, I was scared for my life. I was worried. I was so fearful. Have you ever been scared until unajisusuria? I was shaking like this. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. So anyway, still a Christian, I decided to take a walk to Arboretum, and I went with the full scabs. So I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I was feeling like God was not answering my prayer. God was not even answering. God was not hearing. So I decided to. Usually I do this a lot of times. I write letters to God, but many times I write and tear. Other times I write and burn. I used to have a friend back in 2010, 2011, 2012. I would write letters and forward to her and tell her, when you find God, please share the letter. So this particular one was so hurting. I couldn't find to my friend. So anyway, I went to Arboretum and I had a day with God. Part of what I was doing was writing a letter to God. So I don't know that you consider me mad, insane or what, but I wrote 6-pager letter to God. I listed my fears. I fear bad health. I fear for my children. I fear. There were many. The fears that I had, a long list, but I wrote a letter to God. And because I was at a bad place, I decided to respond as God and respond to mercy. And I responded. I was a Christian, so I responded from my experience with God before that. So I responded to mercy. I assured mercy, I am your God. I'm going to be with you. Even though I was feeling like this God is not hearing me, but I responded as God to mercy. I assured mercy. I wrote another 6-pager to mercy, and I laughed on her. I gave her so much assurance. That is back 2013. I have no idea how that letter was not burnt, how I didn't burn it or chew. Many times I would chew my letters to God. Other times I would tear to small pieces. But for some reason, that letter, I put it in my drawers. So just the other day, last week, I am emptying, the way you clean up your drawers and all that. I found my letter. Let me tell you, Maina, I have been reading that letter every day. The letter from mercy to God and the letter from God to mercy. And so I have learned one thing. Some of the things that we fear, they only exist in our hands. If only we could trust God. Because all those things that I feared, imagine God has been gracious. He may not have perfected them the way I would have desired, but imagine God has answered me, and God has been there with me. So today, Reverend Bishop Kitoto was speaking during the Sunday service, and he talked about when you pass through the valley of the shadow of death. He emphasized something, when you pass through, meaning the valley of the shadow of death is not a place that you're going to stay. Unapitia tu. Let me tell you, that word has hit me so hard, even as I have remembered my letter to God and God responding to me. I've realized that yes, tomorrow is of course not clear, because we have not lived tomorrow. We are in today. So tomorrow can be scary, but you know what? We can trust God, and He will be with us even through the valley of the shadow of death. Even when you pass through those very hard moments, God will be with you. So my encouragement to you this afternoon, or whatever time it is for you, just trust God. When you fear, bring in faith. I mean, I know it is hard, because sometimes we go through hell on earth, and you don't want to pretend that you're not feeling it. But you know what? Even in those moments, the Lord is with you. So may God encourage you. Thank you very much. Toulouse.